You don't need money to build a startup.
Jesus.
Hello and welcome. If you're here for the first time, do well to subscribe and turn on your notification for a lot of amazing content I make on this channel. And talking about building startup, a lot of people think they need to gather hundreds of co-founders, a lot of tech gurus, and even thousands of dollars in their account before getting started. But that's actually not what you necessarily need to get started. I'm not disputing the fact that having all of this at your disposal will give you an edge. But then, when it comes to building a startup, from my little years of experience, I feel there are just two things that are essential. The first is finance, which is the monetary aspect. And the second is platform, talking about the audience. And the good thing is you could start with either of the two, right? If you have money without audience, you could use your money to get audience. And of course, if you have audience, you could get started with that. Let me explain that a little bit further. You see, when you have money and you're building a startup, let's say nobody knows you, nobody knows your startup, but then, yeah, you have an idea and you have money. What that means for you is you could build the startup to completion. You could also be able to sustain the startup at that phase where it has not started generating money. With your money, you could buy adoption. Yes, you could pay for advert, do giveaways, and get people to talk about that solution you're building, and also have people get to start using that solution. There's a lot of what is happening, for example, in the Web3 space. A lot of companies building blockchain technology will put bounties out there, right, for you to build something on their technology and then you get paid. It's done a lot. So they have the money and they just need people to adopt their platform or their system or whatsoever it is that they have built to use. So they tend to use their money to gain adoption. In fact, when you have money, you could even outspend your competitor, yeah, and then move the market in favor of you. But what happens when you don't have money like me? I have money in Jesus' name. When you don't have money, it means that you cannot buy that adoption like people who have money. You cannot pay a huge amount of money for advertisement and all of that. So how do you get started? Should you allow your idea just go out there for nothing? No. The next thing you could do is, or the next thing you could leverage is platform. It's audience. When you have people that are in need of the solution you're building, when you get people to be aware of a particular problem that you are building that solution for, you could get some of them to a point where they are actually waiting for you to make available that software or that solution, and they will be willing to even try it the moment it's available. Some of them can even start paying you from the very first day you are launching. This too, though, is not easy because you have to build the platform. And building the platform, building the audience without money too can be a little bit difficult. You know, humans are like humans are like the difficult thing you have to deal with. Yeah, so building audience too is not easy. But then you could build audience, not necessarily with monetary value, right? There are other values you could give to people for free and then bring them as a community where you talk about this thing you are building. Now, when you're building a solution and you're trying to build an audience, you do not necessarily need to bombard them every day with talk about your solution. No. What you should be doing is talking about the problem. Yeah, I think Twitter people used to say building in public, something like that. So you build in public, but you do not directly talk about your solution. Familiarize people with the problem, get them to understand the problem, get them to agree with you that yes, this is actually a problem that needs to have a solution. And when they have reached that point of agreement, then you can introduce your solution. Oh, I actually have this solution for this problem, and that problem. And you might want to try out my solution, for a little token to get started, or you get people to start using your solution and you collect feedback at zero cost. There's even this guy I'm following on Facebook. I think his name is Iking Ferry, who is building a platform for hiring an accountant, especially for financial analysis and all this tax stuff. This guy has been offering free knowledge for years now. Like a lot of things that you're supposed to pay somewhere to get, this guy has been offering them for free. And over the years, he has built that trust, right? People have come to trust him because of the wealth or the amount of knowledge that he has been sharing for free. And every post he makes, for every knowledge he shares, towards the end, he would bring up something that relates to the solution he's trying to build. And at this point, people are actually even waiting for him to like launch the startup, right? Launch it so that they would start using, because over the years, he has pointed out a lot of problems that the solution he is building could solve. He didn't just talk about the solution directly, no, but talked about the problems that the solution could solve, and then get people to trust him through all the knowledge that he has offered over time. So yes, if you do not have money, you could start building platform. I mean, like very early, ahead of launching that software that you're building or that solution that you're building. Let me hear from you. What do you think about building startup with just money and no platform, or with just platform and no money? For those of you who have built startups that are working, you could also share with us how were you able to go about it, especially for those that didn't have money like me. I'll see you in the next video.